question is, how much do you pay per child for the school feeding program? That's one. Again, how much? Do they pay in terms of food or cash?
No, what happens here in the camp, they pay food. The way it is like you take maize, you take beans as food, not money.
Fine. So maybe the quantities then, why isn't that arrangement also in the host community? No, why isn't it there?
For them in the host community, if your child is not in the boarding section, you don't pay for them food. You pack for them food in the whatever. That's what they do.
So maybe us who are from the host communities, because these people are coding, they say they give food to their children, and the children go with the food. And so even if they don't cook at home, the children are going to eat. Now, maybe ask the host communities, what is our opinion about what we do and what the refugees do? What do you think is better?
So he says the best option is the other one for refugees, where they take the food to school and the school takes care of it.
And this is a remote setting, a local place, right? Now, a settlement is sort of an urban setup, regardless of it also being in a remote locality. In the settlement, there's a lot of population, and you find private schools are many in a smaller proximity where they prepare food. Whereas in the host community, majorly they are the public schools, or what belongs to the government. There is actually no food at school. You sort out with the home. You come at lunchtime, you run back home. So I don't know whether it would be ideal for them as well to contribute. So there is actually no need for them to contribute food in the schools. Whereas in the settlement, there are very many private schools close by within. And I think even in the public schools in the camp, they don't contribute food. Like Kinaketaka, there is no food. The same way with Kasonga.
They do in some classes.
In some classes, like the candidate
class. They started shifts.
Yeah, the candidate class. From people and above, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Or maybe. And then away from that, I don't know, mine would be, this same group talked about ignorance from the farmers, and then use of technology being expensive, and then price fluctuation.
We started with the first point, which says the use of phone. That is to say, if I have a phone and I do not have enough food in my homestead, I can easily call my neighbor and tell them I'm lacking some food stuff, kindly send me some.
Ile inamaanisha kama sina chakula nyumbani, nitakamata telefoni yangu nipigie mwenzangu nimwambie bila lala njala nisaidie unipatie chakula.
So this is to say that point is for all. Whether you are a youth, if you lack food, you can call somebody. Even when you're a mother, a father, if you're a refugee or a host community member, you can all use it. The phone also helps us to know how the prices are, because some buyers come to us in villages when they have lowered the prices. But if you have your friend in a different trading center, you can give them a call and ask them how the prices. Later, we looked at how we can use technology in drying our crops after harvest. At some point, if it is a period of heavy rains, we may not receive enough sunshine, and then you find the buyers are coming to buy our crops when they are not yet dry. Once they buy them, there are some machines where they take them which use electricity or even solar systems. Then we said another strategy could be building stores. These stores will help us in storing food for a longer period, and we shall have enough food. And we saw that we need to use pesticides, most especially in our lands where we have grown our crops, especially rats and squirrels. We have to also use insecticide, the chemical that kills those insects. So most of the times you find when a maize plantation is really big and you find the drought has come, there are some insects which really come and attack them. So when we use insecticides, we shall have enough harvest. Yeah, we need to also use irrigation methods or schemes if we do not have enough rainfall. Especially those who are able, they use pumps. And those who do not have enough money to buy a pump, they usually use fetching water, even jugs. Again, another point is for us to have enough food at our homes, we are supposed to sun dry our food. Because if you don't sun dry your food well or your produce, they may rot after storing. So if we dry them well, we shall have enough food. Again, another point is we have to plant on time. Many seasons are catching us up, like we have delayed to find you have made a loss, you do not have enough food. And then another point says, if you've planted on time, you still have to also harvest, so that they don't get spoiled from the land before harvesting. So we said again, if besides farming or growing of crops, you can also rear animals. So they looked at zero grazing, which is specifically used by refugees, where they said that refugees have small pieces of land, and some of them they have houses, but then they cannot live without rearing animals. So you find someone has a goat. When they go out there in the garden, they collect some grass, they come with it because they don't have where to graze the goat from, but they bring for it. So we looked at market research. So how does the market stand? So is the price higher for both animals and plants or crops? If I have reared my goat and I have not harvested maize, can I be able to sell this goat and buy some maize? And then we looked at labor force. You may find one person have cultivated 3 acres, but he cannot really plant on time and harvest on time him alone. Meaning he has to look for more workers, same price to the harvesting. Then we'll get enough food which is not spoiled. And then we looked at renting or hiring. If you do not have enough land to grow the food crops that will sustain you for a long time, you can rent or hire a bigger land. The last point there on that question, we are supposed to have good roads to help us go to our farms and back. So if we do not have good roads, our food will get spoiled from the land because of not having enough sunshine. That was our first. Our second question was saying,
what are the likely barriers to be implemented, the implementation of the strategies above?
So when we looked at every point we had on question 1, we said if we do not have enough land, the food will not be enough at home. It's impossible to harvest 3 sacks in 1 acre. And then we looked at lack of enough capital for us to hire the land. And then we hire labor. So we also looked at lack of skills. You find you do not have enough skills to even implement the work. You may be farming 1 acre, but you may not be having the skill of watering, not added fertilizers to help them grow well, so that you get what you desire from your land. Here now we need a lot of education. So we looked at also ignorance from some people want to eat and they want to have money, but they do not want to work. And then we looked at price fluctuation. Bought your seeds for beans at a kilo at 3,500, but when you harvest, you sell at 1,100. You find that what you invested in the farming, you have not even gained it. And then we looked at unfavorable climate conditions. So you find the month or a period where you expected rain so that you can plant, you find the rain has missed and you've not. Or even what you have planted, it has come with hailstones and has spoiled all completely. You find another point could be laziness. People are lazy. For example, you're going to the garden to do the farming, you're supposed to spend there 3 hours or you return home at around 9 a.m. but you come back at 7 a.m. You spend just 1 hour instead of 3 hours. The laziness is making us not happy. So another thing which is making us not have enough food and so you find somebody is lazy and then after others have invested, now they become thieves. They go and steal what they have to. Another thing we looked at is having poor roads. This makes constrain the buyers from coming to our villages. Some of us farm far away from our homes. At times you find it takes you really a long time to reach your land, and then you find you have not been able to harvest on time, and then at the unfavorable weather conditions they end up spoiling.